makes it even like stronger. So thank you for making that happen, and thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for the invitation.
And thank you for release the film in Dubai. We are very happy.
So we'll start. I'll ask you a few questions, one or two questions, and then after we'll open the questions, the Q&A to the audience.
Okay.
So Damien, we discussed about that before, but I think it's interesting still to share it with the audience, and Adila being here. During the introduction, we mentioned the fact that The Last Queen was a very important film. It was a very important film for Algerians, for Algerians' memories, but as well, I think it's very important for the whole region. As you know, Ottoman Empire governed the Levant, Egypt, and North Africa. So I think that the fact of placing this film historically in a period, a pre-colonial period and a pre-Ottoman period is very important. Can I ask you why did you come out with this project?
I start?
You can start, yes.
Well, first, I think it was in 2014, and we were working in the Algiers downtown in the Casbah, and Adila told me this story of this queen, Zafira, and I was like a child because she told me, the Spaniards were occupied Algiers, and Algerian called Barbarossa, Arouj Barberousse, to free the town, and this queen stand up in front of him. So at this moment, we were working on a more traditional film, very contemporary social issues. And I said, but this is for cinema. This is for the big screen, and we have to work on it. So the travel in the past was starting, and because for me, I was born in France. I'm a French Algerian who raised in France. So I didn't know that we have this big part of history. And for me, I felt kind of, I was proud to know that we have kings and queens and very beautiful legends. And at the same point, it was very Romanesque. I don't know how to say in English. I mean, to do a very fiction film and a real tragedy.
Yes. But I think that when we choose together to make this film, a film which talk about our history before the Ottomans and the French colonialism, it was like thinking about a revolution, because when you talk about the memory, which something which is never told, and which has been erased, it's like a revolution. You open a door to people in our region, the big door of imagination and of our history, and it's very important because it's a way to be free, to feel free to tell our history.
And yes, and at this time, so when we started the project, I said, okay, I will watch the film from the region, from Algeria, from Africa, from the Arab world, with the drama and period films, and I didn't find some films. The last only film I know is The Destin, maybe The Face, by Youssef Chahine, but it was 30 years ago. So I was very sad that, like, if all the Arab world and Africa can't tell his own story, his past, his glory. So in that way, it was kind of a political gesture to say, okay, we don't have a real cinema economy in Algeria. We don't have all the mechanism to do it easily, but we have to. And maybe it will open a kind of a new route or perspective from the region too.
We hope. We hope. It's a very empowering film as well in terms of identity. Seeing, as you were saying, the region, seeing Algeria, pre-colonial Algeria and pre-Ottoman Empire Algeria is very empowering, and it's very empowering, Adila, in your interpretation of Queen Zafira. Thank you. I mean, you were perfect in it, and both of you. I mean, I've watched before Qand al-Bahar, which was also very empowering when it comes to women. I'd like to see, how did you build a story in history? How did you build the role of Zafira in this film?
I think that for Zafira, you know, she's quite erased from in history, so we need to imagine. And I think that the first inspiration was woman of today, Algerian woman today, and Algerian woman during the revolution, because it's like a point of view from now and from here about our history. So we have to imagine. Only the imagination can bring back this woman history. I hope it's clear.
Yes, I mean, it is the permanence of women courage, the Algerians women courage. No, thank you. I will open.
At the same time, pardon. At the same time, women in the big history are quite erased worldwide. At that time, we only speak of men building history, and or a few women, but when they acted like men. So, for example, in a historical research, we just find a very few traces or fragments of women history, like for in our topic, like a queen raised a rebellion against Baba Rouge. It's the only historical fact that we find. And so for us, it was very interesting to enter in this history, in this movie, by the feminine angle, because I think it's the most originality of the film, to see the pirate, to see the politic by the woman. So the film starts in the men world. The men are doing politics and battle, and at the beginning of the film, it's the woman who leads the story and the politics, and that's all.
Yeah, that's a lot. Thank you. I'm going to open the questions to the audience.
Sorry, we are not very strong in English, but if the audience speak Arabic, Adila can. I can't. I'm very bad in everywhere.
So, hi Adila, hi Damien. Thank you for the great movie. It was absolutely magnificent. So you managed to capture the Algerian identity and culture while keeping the movie appeal to an international audience. So, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I was saying that you managed to capture the Algerian culture while making the movie appeal to an international audience. To that, I say bravo. And two other things is I really love the customs and the way you direct the movie, you filmed the movie. And I'm still shaken with the scene on the horse. It was absolutely great scene. Congratulations to that. So my question would be, what was your source material to build this movie? What was your reference?
Yes, you know, we read a lot of books from Algeria, France, America, Turkey. Yes, from the Spanish Chronique, and
US too.
And we met a lot of historians. Yes, we work with a specialist for the costumes, Leila Belqaid. She's she's in New York. She's Algerian, and she's the only specialist of costume, Algerian costume. We read during 5 years.
Yeah, the process was very long because it's very far away, 500 years ago. And at the same time, there is a political change. It will be 2 years, 3 years after the beginning of Ottoman Empire in Algeria. So we have this change of regime made that lots of parties are erased. So we didn't find like a only book would tell the whole story. So we have to cross the information between Algeria, Turkey, Spain, USA too, because they wrote a lot about Barbarossa, Netherlands too. And after the point of view of the writers, and change a lot. For example, the Spaniards are very angry with Arouj, saying he's a devil, and the Turkish say he's like a prophet. But you have common facts, like the years of things happen, the battles, or when Arouj, for example, find or kill the rebels. So we got the information to build the historical environment. And after, sometimes we invent, we imaginate, especially for the Zafira route in the film, but always doing a script to historians to have and the historian says, okay, you can't, we don't know, but this work and this doesn't. It's not vraisemblable, or so we work like that. And after, so we little bit work like historian for the script. And for costumes and for set design, it was quite the same. We have to cross the information, the books, the paintings, gravure, and after imaginate when there are some gaps. And after it enter in the whole film, so it's the aesthetics, the style of the film. But as it was the kind of first period Algerian film, we were very interesting to push the details and to be the closer of the reality we can find. So we really push in everywhere, in the accessories, in the colors, pigment of the costumes too, where the pigments that we had in Algiers at that time. We pushed to the weapons, for example, for recreating these shields were from Andalusia and came to North Africa at this time, but disappeared right now, didn't exist right now. And yes, it was like we worked all these kind of details. But it took time, but after we were not only, we have a very great people, talented people in set design, who is Fayal Gasmi Siachem, she's an architect designer, and she has a big culture, and we work very closely together. And Adila work a lot with Jean-Marc Myrté, who is two specialists of Algerian costume. So they study like months and searching months, and created during 1 year all the piece for the film. But at the same, what I wanted to say is that we missed some films about this time, or period film. It was important for us to be the more realistic and create beauty too, because it would be the first time. And despite the film can be good or bad, it could became a reference for the next directors. So that's why we pushed a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Another question?
Hi everyone, my name is Luisa. First of all, I wanted to say a big thank for the movie. As a French Algerian, I've been also for years doing some research about our history. My family and I, we are very passionate about Algerian history. And so far, I haven't seen any movie that relate our on history, like as you said, as you mentioned before. The only movies that we have are maybe during the Ottoman Empire or when French were in Algeria, the war, etc. But nothing really that talks about our country in that time, in the 16th century. So thank you so much. What I wanted to say as well is that I kind of like the fact that you chose Zefira as the main actor of the movie. I think it brings some sort of feminine energy, and it brings some sensitivity into the movie, which I liked. It's a woman that has a kid. She's an actress, but in the same time, she's not completely participating because she's a woman. So she has to be on the side. Most of the time, she's not able to be involved that much with the decision that men are taking. So I like that. Because, as I said, yes, it brings like a human side of it more than if it was just a pure war movie and simply fights and maybe some strategy between men and nothing else. So it was very great. Now I've watched one of your interview. I think it was in Le Journal de l'Afrique. So I was already aware about like the fact that you made your own research with the costumes, and also you had to go through many countries to get all the information, because unfortunately in Algeria it's pretty difficult to find any information. And the only information that we have most of the time are what our grandparents or what people talks and legends.
Sorry, can you please ask your question?
Yes.
Okay.
I can ask my question.
Like to,
of course. Sorry. Yeah, I'll make it fast. My question is, are you planning maybe to develop and in the near future, maybe continue some, maybe a next movie about Algerian history? Is it something, or maybe some people will get inspired and you will do some further collaborations, or?
We don't know yet, but it's true that we always work and write scripts for Algeria. You know, Algeria, she's the queen. Algiers is the queen, so she always inspired us. But the most important for us is that after this film, young directors from Africa, from Arabic world, will feel free to talk about their own history, you know, to feel free to make what they really want to do, because you know, we don't have the power concerning production, so we have to make films sometimes which are acceptable in Europe or in America. And it's very important that we start to represent our history, because it's totally underrepresented, and the world need to see history from, you know, all the world, not only from the same point of view. And that's the most important for us, that people want to make such film and more films about history. And but we have another project, but it's not the same period. It's about history too, but it's totally different. We don't like to make a movie, you know, the same movie. We want to change. We need to change to show something new.
To be honest, for me, at the end of the shooting and during the post-production, I said never more a period film, because it was quite tough to make it, and at the same time, it's because economically it's complicated, because it's normally this kind of film needs a huge budget, and we don't have the financial mechanism to make this kind of film, because we are between the commercial and the art film, and so it was very long to succeed to fund the film, and because in Europe they didn't really care about this moment of Algeria. They are in this kind of topic. They are more in contemporary film and social film and fashion issues. And in Algeria, we don't have like, I don't know, in France, you're French Algerian, like a Canal Plus to fund such big films. So, and at the same time, 2 years ago in Algeria, the public fund stopped. So, and it's more than a half of their budget. So for the future, it's not very easy to see well what we can do. And at this time, right now, I think yes, we have to go back in story again. Adila don't like to speak about what we are working on, but the idea is to go to, in some moment and some part of Algeria we never know on the big screen. I mean, for me, it's my own challenge right now is to try to represent something I've never seen, and it's very fascinating to try to recreate this kind of world. And so yes, we are, in reality, we have to envy, to desire a film in the past, and but we can say or not the moment, just a decade.
No, secret.
No, but it's not kind of a secret, because the secret can be too. Well, I don't know.
Sorry.
Good evening.
Thank you.
My name is Badi'a Fattouh, and first I would like to congratulate you for a beautiful film and very well done movie. I heard you talking about paintings when answering previous question, and one of the things I'm fascinated about in the movie is the art direction and the visual approach, because at many instances I thought I was watching oil on canvas paintings in front of me, scene after scene. So could you tell us a little bit more about your visual inspiration behind the art direction, the beautiful art direction in the movie?
Yeah, you know, maybe because Damien worked with the DOP, but I can say something about this, you know. When we start to work on the décor, comment on dit? The set and the costumes and all the details, we were like obsessed by the details. It was very important to bring this word, which have been erased, to appear. And you know, something was very. We were always very upset to see in American films, you know, how the Arab is represented. So, you know, you go from Morocco to Persia, and we have all the same clothes, we have all the same set, we have all the same language, which is not very precise. So I think that in for the set and the costumes, and we were really obsessed by the details. And when we start to shoot the film, we discovered that it appears, you know, but there is the inspirations for the DOP, and Damien can talk about this. But I think that all the work that we make during the pandemic of the COVID, because it was during this period, we work on these details, and even us, we were surprised to see that when we start the shooting, you know, it was like, yes, comme des tableaux, painting, and we were quite surprised.
Yes, with the DOP is Shadi Shaban. He's from Lebanon, and well, at the beginning, for me, I'm more working like a cinema like sculpture. I'm very focused on the comedian and actor bodies, and I like to search the energy of the bodies. And when we started with the DOP, I of course we speak a lot about paintings, but at the same time it was a kind of enemy, because I was afraid about Orientalism, and to make some shoot maybe too cliche. So we have to break that. And at the same time, we have the particularity of Algiers is the white walls. And the white in cinema for the camera is quite complicated. It's always give lots of light, and for shooting the faces, it's not sometimes it's not so beautiful. So we wanted to create with the Shadi DOP something darker and more clair-obscur, and to come back to the details, when we started, because we started first shooting with another DOP before the COVID, but we have to stop after 2 days because it was in March to 2020, and we saw that we have everything for making great paintings. So we push the details, more tissues, more details in the costume to have more matter in the image. And after with the DOP, we work during this time. Our reference were more European in paintings. I spoke a lot about Goya and his black paintings, and Shadi have other references. So, but it's really the art direction are we push it a lot on the details, and after, as the genre of the film is a tragedy, we work to be a kind of darker, or to create an image moving from the beginning to the end. The beginning is more lighter, more sun, and after with the king's death, and we go in the night, and we had a big challenge to use fire too, because it's quite dangerous and not easy to control. But I'm sorry, I'm not so clear. We need the DOP to speak about that. But yes, when we were on the set and watching the shot, for example, I've planned to shoot a lot running the camera and moving camera. But when we started to put some traveling and so some white shot, we said, oh, it's really beautiful, and okay, we have to keep it and to show that. But at the same time, in the editing, we have to be very, I like to be energetic in my editing, so we don't stop and focus or be too contemplative in front of these paintings. We have to always move on and to serve the characters and the story.
Thank you. We'll take 2 more questions.
So hi, my name is Leila, and as a kid and as a Algerian, I really liked the film, even if it was like fights and whatever. But I really liked it because it talked about Algeria, and I didn't know that much about my country. So when I saw you acting, I was really impressed, and I thought, what was your feeling beyond the acting?
What was what?
Your feelings.
What was?
Your feelings.
Good question. Hi. My feeling during the acting, I'm always very afraid when I start a movie, and especially for this movie, because we write the script together and we direct together. So I was very afraid, when you start to act, you feel that you never act before and you don't know how to act. You're like in the desert. So I was always wondering how to play this scene, how to do, how to be, connected with her reality and her history. And I mean, this woman is don't live now. She lived far years ago, far centuries ago. And I think that I choose to be connected to Algiers and now, to how because we live in Algeria, we work in Algeria, we fight in Algeria, I really choose to be connected to how to be a woman in Algeria now. And I feel that it was not so different in this 15th century, 16th century, because it's about human emotions, human feelings, and this is so universal, and it crossed the centuries. Voilà.
But it was a real challenge for, I think, all the actors. But the idea is, okay, we will create the costume and the set design. So when this challenge is over or done, the challenge is to give life to the story. So each actor has his own personality, and there are choose for that too. So for me, I said we did some rehearsal before the shooting with the actors and in costumes. The idea is that a kaftan, another 16th century kaftan, is like a blue jean from right now. So they have to be used to move with it.
Heavier. It's really heavier.
But I mean, after we want life, and there is a text, and after I think it's quite close from other film for acting, because at the same for Dali Ben Salat, who plays Arouj Barberousse, it was quite heavy as a character to play. To play Barbarossa was a big challenge, and so the costume helped. And after it's the actor, I built from the actor what they give to me and their personality too.
Yes.
Hello, I'd like to thank you for your beautiful movie first. And my question is, have you received any criticism over the way Arouj was portrayed? Because, some consider him to be a hero, some consider him to be just a normal pirate. And in the movie, Arouj and his men were portrayed as, let's say, a bit of a barbaric pirate. So my question is, have you received any criticism over how he was portrayed?
So you think that he's barbare in the film?
Well, I'm wondering if you have ever received any criticism over how he was portrayed, because even in Algeria, many people consider him to be, let's say, a mujahid hero, but some consider him to be something else. So he's a controversy in Algeria itself.
Yeah, we have it. But for me, I mean it.
But without seeing the
film, it turns to the audience. Now the film is for the audience, so each one can imagine that. But for me, I'm not agree with that, because for me in the film it's a character. Arouj is a character I like very much. He's a super fighter, and they are not. And I don't know. I'm quite. Sometimes angry because saying a human being is barbaric, for me it's very colonialism word, way of watching the world and the people. It's a fighter. When I don't know, a soldier who don't go to fight with a book and I don't know, saying poetry, is a super fighter, is a conquerant. And I shoot Arouj Barbarousse like that, a very strong like a superhero, because all the Europe was afraid of him. But for me, it's lots of glory. But at the same time, it's a human being. So you have this part of shadows and light and depths. And it was too an original motivation for us. It was to destroy the statues, the myth, and the legend, to give blood and flesh to this character. They are all legendary characters. Zafira is pure legend. Maybe she exists or no. And Arouj Barbarossa is a legend too. A real one, but he's a legend too. So we have to make it. It's not because he's a mujahideen that he can't be very tough on the battlefield. And if you, I mean, at that time, you have to be like that. And
Damien, you remember we exchanged about that. I'm just back from Istanbul, where I mean talking about the Barbarossa brothers being legends. The Turkish government just inaugurated a giant mosque called Hareddin Barbarossa in Levant area.
Yeah,
goes definitely in the hero storytelling of Turkey.
Yeah.
But not Arouj, no?
No, it's Hareddin.
It's Hareddin, yes, because
Hareddin, exactly.
There's a lot of people who talk about this. Maybe the film will represent, but I think that it's people who don't watch the film. And it's very important to understand that Arouj, it's not the Ottoman Empire at this moment. He's like free, he's independent. He's not really from the Ottoman Empire. It's Hareddin. He's not Turkish. He's il vient de Grèce. He's from
Greece, exactly. The Lesbos
Greek.
Exactly.
So he's free, and we should this moment. We could make a film about Hareddin and the Ottoman Empire, but I think it doesn't really interest. We don't want to do that. It was more interesting for us to talk about a man who came and believed in Algiers, because something is very special in Arouj, and there is a real question that Astrid, the Scandinavian, his girlfriend, asked him. She said, "Why now? We used to, fight for kingdom, to free kingdom, and then we go away. We go to another kingdom. Why do you want to stay here? Why Arouj want to stay in Algeria?" I think there is a political strategy, because he believed that Algiers could be a big kingdom, and which this will happen 13 years ago. It could be a very, a big economic and financial place, which will happen. So he believed, and he said, here it's our home. We're going to build and live here. So this was very interesting for, it's our ancestors. On dit ancêtres comme ça?
Yes.
Yes, you have Salim Toumi. He's Algerian Berber, and he speaks Arabic, but he's Berber. You have the Andalusian from Andalusia. And you have even the Scandinavian, because it's our ancestors, and we wanted that each Algerian come and see the film, feel that his ancestors are beautiful. It was very important. So yes, he's a hero. He's a big fighter, and he's a romantic man with a woman, I feel. No? He knows how to love.
After we played with his men, well, maybe more, but we have to imagine this kind of man cross the sea during months and years, and entering on a land and fight, and they are warriors. So
yes.
But when we wrote a story and when we direct, we never judge our characters. I think we try to give chance to each of them.
They are warriors. So I was saying they are warriors, and all warriors don't wear weapons. So I mean, both of you also you are warriors for the beautiful film that you shared with us tonight. Thank you very much. I think
wait, we want to present you someone.
He's not here.
Wait.
He left. You know, because we have one of the pirates. He came at home
Ahmed?
today to
Ahmed
to have a cup of tea.
Will be good, yeah.
So he left. But thank you for the questions, and I especially like the question of the little girl about acting. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ahmed, he left. He so if there is another last question, if you want.
We will have to, we will have to end the conversation. I'm sorry, Adila, because there's another film after.
Well, just it's for me. We will have a birthday.
Ahmed, جبت لنا bouquet ورد.
Bah oui, c'est pour vous tous.
Thank you.
Voilà.
Ahlan.
You know, he's the very bad pirate.
I'm a gentleman
who killed
pirate.
everyone. Voilà. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sofiane.
Thank you.
Thank you for
يعطيكم
all.
الصحة. Thank you. Bye.
يسلمك. صحة.
Thank you. Bye.
Au revoir. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Ah, t'as récupéré le petit verre. C'était chouette.